Unity's prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. And the presence of God watches over me wherever I am. God is. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. And the presence of God watches over me wherever I am. God is. What an affirmation. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. And the presence of God watches over me wherever I am. God is. Let's affirm it for ourselves one more time. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. And the presence of God watches over me wherever I am. God is. Wherever I am. God is. Wherever I am, God is.
I just invite you to breathe with me now, just a mindful breath. Relax into this beautiful day as we speak our purpose statement together. As an intentional spiritual community, the purpose of CSL is to be a living environment for individuals to realize that we are all unique emanations of God, the love intelligence governing the universe. We embody the truth of our oneness with God, and we consciously practice this truth in our everyday life through the exploration of new thought, ageless wisdom, and the energy of unconditioned love. We are dedicated to individual transformation and to being a beneficial presence in the world. And I will listen
Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know. I will make a quiet place within my life, and I will listen, Holy Spirit. I will listen. I will make a quiet place. I will make a quiet place. I will make a quiet place.
And in this stillness, please join with me as I enter that heart center and I feel that essence, that place that the divine dwells, knowing that this divine is the only presence, the only power there is, that it is the activity of God in and through and as me and each and every one here today. It is the center of all that is, the creator and the creation. And we are each unique individualizations of that one. And as we step into this awareness, we connect with that Christ consciousness that has been reborn in each of us this season, and that is always ours to use and to be. And as we surrender into this peace, this love, this bliss, we experience the all good of our universe. And we release all that is not of this consciousness. And I know that everything that we do is governed by this pure intelligence, this pure love, this inspired wisdom. And we are surrounded by all good things, be it prosperity, friendships, business affairs. Everything is in peace and harmony and wholeness. And I speak my word for the request in the prayer chest and the request made today. And I'll speak this word also for Angelo, Paul, Janet, Jason, Christopher, the Pazek family, the Tide family, the Flores family, Maggie and Kenny, Alan Smith, Unspoken, Verda, Gail, Dr. Ken E., the Peebles family, Dan and Barb, Ed Kelly, the Suter kids, Kel and Sarah, Jennifer B., the Floyd kids and grandkids, Dale Smith, Douglas Lovitz, travelers, and my eyesight. And for these people on this list in the prayer chest and in the desires of your heart, I know that the power and the presence of Spirit, the activity of God, is happening right this minute. And that I know that each person requesting prayer and being prayed for is conscious of divine guidance, of inward peace. And I know that in each relationship, that harmony is established, that right adjustment is happening in all personal, family, and business affairs in each condition of each life, that each request is supplied with every good thing, resulting in happiness and radiance, wholeness and completeness, and that all is well as Spirit becomes manifest in its completeness. And the service is blessed. The service and all those volunteers who have come to make this an experience for each of us as we expand our consciousness of that cosmic consciousness that is ours, this Christ consciousness that we have been so inundated and aware of this season. So we are blessed, each of us shine our light brightly. And I release these words into the law, knowing they are already so. They are coming into fruition with great expectations as we just surrender and declare, and so it is.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love. To the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. 'Cause here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go. Closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go. Deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go. Closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul.
I'd like to call your attention to the prayer chest at the bottom of the stairs to the left. If there's something that is bothering you, something that seems to be blocking your experience of that consciousness of the divine, please leave your name in your request in the prayer chest, and the practitioner will do affirmative prayer this week on your behalf. Learn from past experiences, but accept them all as perfect while staying in the present. Let go of everything that doesn't serve you. It's Mike Basvik. And from Ernest Holmes, the whole scheme of the universe is that of a benevolent conspiracy to grant us the very best.
When I was a boy each week, Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word, consecrate the holy bread. Everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made the water wine. I remember feeling sad. Miracles don't happen still. Now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, and even better magic trick. Anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, I barely wet my fingertips. Now I have to hold my breath, like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second hand came down. But I walk it with the reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Wine from water is not so small. Even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. This morning outside I stood, I saw little Edward bird, shining like a burning bush, and singing like a scripture verse. Made me want to bow my head to the beauty of that sacred song. So much has changed for me. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now.
David Hawes. Thank you so much, David Hawes. one of the many things he does awesomely around here. A lot of them you don't know about, but you get to experience it in this building, like heat and no leaky things and stuff like that, you know. So thank you so much, you guys. Yeah. So we're finishing up our season of light today. And I have a video from Seattle, CSL, with Reverend Cathy Lewis. She has been a minister for a long time. I really can't remember a time when I was involved in this and going to conferences that Cathy wasn't a part of it. In fact, she was a big part of the core or the board of trustees of the big organization for a while. And her center is in Seattle, and she's quite a character, and you'll find that out. And I did, for the sake of time, I'm so glad I found this program where I can edit these things, because there were so many great videos, but sometimes long, and sometimes some of the things didn't pertain to us, and so there is a little bit of editing going on, but you'll get the gist of Cathy Ann. She's very vibrant, she's very feisty, I remember that. So her talk title today is After Enlightenment, Chop Wood, Carry Water. So here's Cathy Ann Lewis.
The talk title today is After Enlightenment, Chop Wood, Carry Water. And I think you've heard about that. That's a book. Before Enlightenment, Chop Wood, Carry Water. After Enlightenment, Chop Wood, Carry Water. And you might wonder what enlightenment is. Enlightenment isn't an arrival. If the universe is constantly expanding, we're going to be constantly moving into enlightenment. And it's not like you get there and there's a finish line. We do not believe that people die and go to heaven. We believe that people awaken to the heaven that is on earth. And then they start to make heaven on earth. That's what I believe. That's what we teach. That it's not, it's like something that is constantly being revealed to us. First, I want to give you an example of enlightenment. It's where you just see things differently. Nothing changes and everything does. Nothing changes and everything does. I was taking I think it was like a 9-month course with Michael and Paulette's son. And I would fly to Santa Barbara and spend the weekend there with a bunch of other people. I'd say there was probably 11 of us. And we were doing some pretty intense work. And a lot of it was yoga, body work. We weren't allowed to eat meat. We were on a vegetarian regimen. Anyway, everyone was having all these amazing experiences. And I don't have too much envy. I mean, I really don't. You can have whatever car you want. I'm not too envious. You can live in any house you want. I'm not too envious. You can go on vacations, and I'm a little bit envious, but not too envious. But what I'm really envious of is experiences. I have experienced envy. When people are having ahas like crazy, like we go to Egypt or we go other places and people are having, and it's like, I want one of those. I want none of those. Of course, I leave and I'm changed, but I didn't have the experience. I really want the experience. And these people are in the room having these experiences, and I'm like, what about me? I'm the minister here. We're a bunch of lay people. You get experiences? I've dedicated myself to God. Where's my experience? I was in my head. Although I think one evening I did break down and I said, this isn't fair. I want some experiences. Because we had been together long enough that I could share that. And on my way back to my room, I looked down at a rock. And there is actually a book that says something to the effect, and just the title, I haven't read the book, even a rock can be your guru, or something like that. Even a rock can be your teacher. I know there's that book. And maybe that's what triggered this. I looked down at this rock, and all of a sudden, everything was alive. Everything was alive. it was the most glorious thing. It's like, oh, it's that song, Everything is Holy Now. Everything was sacred. Everything was like, okay. Everything was perfect. And then I continued back to my room, and I sort of stayed in that daze for most of that evening. And that's when I really got on to really working with Emma Curtis Hopkins and doing the covenants of, I covenant with the Holy Spirit for my life. I will do nothing to maintain my life because my life is the life of the Spirit. And it's because I knew at that moment that was true. I knew that everything that was good was an expression of God. It's like, wow, and then the next morning. So, what do you do after that? You get on with your life. And yet, the memory of it is like, everything's holy. Whether you see it or not, nothing changed. What I saw was the holiness of creation, and nothing changed except me. I changed. I can't see it anymore. Richard Rohr, I'm reading The Universal Christ, and in The Universal Christ, he says that there are 4 worldviews. The first one is the materialistic view. What you see, what you can measure, what you can share with others, that's what's real. And that's a pretty good idea, especially if you want to walk out in front of a car. Then there's the other view that is really emerging right now, which is the spiritual view. And the spiritual view is, all of this is just a fact. What's really real is the eternal presence of God. That's what's real. Everything else is just an effect. Don't pay attention to it. And this is showing up in have you noticed it's showing up and it's emerging more and more and more? Then there's the priestly view. He said there's a priestly view, and the priestly view is where people try, like me, or other people that write books or whatever, try to bring the two worlds together. That they try to say, guess what? You need to bring your spiritual ideas into the real world. And you can't avoid the real world just because you want to be spiritual. So that's bringing them together. And then he said, this is the other view. The other view is the Incarnation View, which is that all things were incarnated by God, and all of this is the incarnation of God, not just Jesus. This is the universal Christ. The universal Christ is that everything is the Word of God. Everything. Everything is the incarnation of Spirit and God. This earth is alive, and it's not different than Spirit. It's Spirit in form. It's all beautifully alive and gorgeous, which is what I saw so many years ago when I looked at a rock. And the rock spoke to me. Judge Thomas Troward said, I study only 2 things, the Bible and nature. And if you studied anything about Judge Thomas Troward, he was one of the supreme metaphysicians, New Thought masters, and probably the most influential teacher to Ernest Holmes. And he studied the Bible and nature and came up with all of that because the earth speaks. The earth speaks. The incarnation. I was thinking about this when I was driving in. There's something that I do when I'm really depressed, and so for any of you that are feeling sorrow, depression, anger, blah de blah de blah de blah de blah, you name it, give it to the earth. She can take it. And I got this idea from a teaching of a Native American teaching, where a gentleman was watching this young Native American man lay on the ground, and he said, "What's going on?" He says, "Well, I've just lost." I don't know. He had a story. Forgot what the story was, and he was feeling very sad and mournful. And he says, "I'm giving it to the mother." And so I've done that sometimes. There have been times when I've watched the news and been so depressed. I've been so full of stuff. Grief and anger and disappointment and sorrow, and and all of those things all at once. And I will go out in the field and I'll just lay down. And I'll say, Mama, take it. Take it. And it does seem to drain away. There is a pulling action. If you really pay attention, you lay on the earth, there is a pulling action. We might say it's gravity, but I also think it's just the earth's ability to pull out of us that which is not good for us. Lynn, did you go to Morocco? So I teach a mystic mind retreat, and one of the things that happens in the mystic mind retreat, spoiler alert, is I have people go out and talk to a tree. And some of the people were, I'm not, in fact, I remember one gentleman said, I'm not going to go talk to a tree. The trees don't have anything to say. But he was, being good and walking around all and he said, this tree called him over. And so he's like, I'm not sitting on the ground, and there happened to be a chair there. So he sat on the chair and just spent time. He had to spend quite a bit of time, so he just sat in the chair. Pretty soon the tree started talking to him. The earth is alive. It's not spirit and matter. It's schmatter or spratter. Spritter. It's not, see, we are so divisional. It's a this or that. No. We teach oneness, and it's literal. To know that is to want to honor everything around us. That means the earth. That means other people. That means other cultures. We have to take the mystic's word for it. But if we continue to contemplate ideas like there's only one, and the earth is alive, and grace is available, if we take some of those words, or even the words of Jesus, and we don't feel it, but if we continue to contemplate those ideas, things open up. And we begin to perceive what they perceived. The most powerful thing that we can do is to get out of the way, because Richard Rohr is very clear about this, and so are the mystics. You can't make yourself see reality. That's why Jesus could say, you don't have ears to hear and you don't have eyes to see. Why? Because we haven't opened our heart yet. We haven't allowed ourselves to contemplate the idea that everything is holy now. So we can't see that everything is holy now. But let's take someone's word for it. The problem is that we can have these experiences. You can hear my words and go, that's true. But the ego gets in the way. And you know how the ego gets in the way? The ego gets in the way by saying, so what do I do? The ego is a doer. The ego wants a job. Its job, as we have developed, is to keep us safe and to make us comfortable. So it is a doer. So let's give the ego something to do while we're allowing spirit to open our heart and open our eyes so that we can perceive reality in a new way. So just give it something to do. So I have some do's and don'ts. This is for your ego. Your spirit, your soul already knows this, doesn't need it. The ego, that part of us that has been developed to keep us safe and to keep us comfortable and to make us not feel embarrassed and all that stuff, it just wants some things to do. So here it is. First of all, you're not going to like these. Number one, Emma Curtis Hopkins said that there's only one don't in metaphysics, and it is don't complain. I don't know why that works, except I do know that complainers will continue to see things to complain about. What you give your attention to increases. And when we stop complaining, we start to see opportunities, and we start to see what's ours to do, because that's the other part of it. If we don't complain, we see an issue. But instead of complaining about it, which is, ask yourself, what's mine to do about this? What's mine to do about this? Not complain about this, but what's mine to do about this? The other one is, don't accuse. We actually have enough sin to clean up in our own consciousness without going after everyone else's sins. So don't accuse ourselves or others. It's like if we see that we are making a mistake, then ask the presence of God within us to give us the power to stop it. And if we see it in others, ask ourselves, could it be in me also? In a smaller effect, smaller way. A lot of times when I accuse other people, I realize that I do something similar, but much more polished. And much more socially acceptable. And nobody'd ever know. But it's still in me. It's not obtuse. It's subtle. But the reason it bothers me in others is because it's still in me. Don't play dumb. Now let's talk about that. Emma Carter Hopkins says to deny ignorance of yourself or others. And I've noticed that a lot of times, this is just me. This is me. I play dumb. I don't know how. If we are immersed in spirit and everything is alive, then the love intelligence of the universe that could create such a beautiful planet and have it so well organized until human beings got involved, and could lay out all of the planets and the systems, and if that love intelligence is everywhere, then guess what? It's in me. So instead of saying, I don't know, I can't know, I'll never know, just say, well, I guess I need to listen more. I'm going to listen more. I'm going to listen harder. I'm going to wait for the answer to be revealed in me. And sometimes, I will ask a question, and it's like, it shows up on my Facebook feed. How'd that happen? I forgot which church it is that has on the side of their church buildings, God is still talking. God didn't stop 2,000 years ago. What? Boy, that's worshiping a relic. No, God's alive. The earth is alive. If a tree can talk to you, God can talk to you. But if you want to go out and talk to a tree, it'll talk to the tree. It's like, oh yes, I've got to go contact God and go sit in front of your favorite tree. Or plant, or bush, or whatever. Don't play dumb. Don't give up. Now, when I say don't give up, I mean don't give up on your goal. You may have to give up on the method. A willingness to shift directed by intelligence, by asking, how can I shift? What can I do differently? Will lead you into a different result. Now here's some do's. Number one. This equals, in Emma's book, Don't Complain. So what do? You praise everything. She says if you want to get into a healing consciousness, which means a revealing of wholeness, whether it's for yourself or others, if you want to reveal wholeness in yourself or others, praise everything. Not just the things you like. Praise everything. So some of us are familiar with a practice that was invented by my friend Marcia Sutton and Lloyd Tupper. No, not Lloyd Strong. And it was, I raise you and I praise you in the name of love. That they came up with that because Lloyd used to work for a government agency, and he ran this government agency. It was like a licensing. It was like licensing, but it was licensing like for buildings and stuff. And can you imagine how some contractors would come in and say, I should be able to do this? And he was like always being inundated by these big guys who wanted it different than what the county said they could do. And so he developed technique. When he saw the big burly guys coming in, he would start to say, I raise you, price. Oh, by the way, in his head, because he's working for the county. I praise you and I raise you in the name of the Lord. I praise you and I raise you in the name of the Lord. By the time the guy would get to the counter, he was so nice, so cooperative. You don't praise that which is going well, you praise that which isn't as well. So we praise everything. Then give thanks. So grateful. So this is the perfect song that we sang. We give thanks because not being grateful covers up our prosperity, according to Emma Chris Hopkins. Not being grateful covers up our prosperity. And prosperity to Emma means to thrive in all areas of your life. If you are not thriving, ask whether it's money, relationships, social activities, ideas, ask yourself, am I grateful? And the great thing about gratitude and being thankful is that even if you don't feel it, you can start to do it. And then you'll feel it, and then you'll start to see the results. It's sort of like there are some people, I've watched them. But I, for one, don't want to do exercise. But when I do the exercise, I feel better, and then I start to see the results. Does that make sense? Okay, now, do appreciate the good you see in others. And to do so allows you to claim the same for yourself. So if you see something that you appreciate in someone else, do appreciate it. And I got this from Terry Cole Whitaker, oh my goodness, maybe 40 years ago. She said, envy is a good thing if you let it be an indicator of what good you are to accept into your own life. So if you see something and you have envy, then go, oh, that's God saying I need to accept this. Because God gives to everybody. God didn't say, you get it, you get it, you get it, you get it, you get it. You don't. All the rest of you don't get it. Yeah, just reincarnate, maybe better life next time. No, some people are open to it. And some spiritual people think that they got to play small to prove their love of God. No. If you see it in others, it's because it's already being awakened in you. It's like if I see the faults of others, it's in me. If I see the good in others, it's in me. It needs to be expressed. So I went to a horse show last week. And this one woman had so much fun. She did bad, she did good, and she came and she was smiling the whole time. She'd get off the horse and she got last place and she's like smiling. She's having so much fun. And I wrote this down in my journal. I want to have fun like Nikki. Another woman, it was just out of her mouth were these profound things. It's like, whoa. I felt like I had a guru with me all week. She was so wise. And I said, okay, I want to be wise like her. I want to be confident like her. I want to preach the gospel like her. Because when you say good things to other people, you're preaching the gospel. I want that consciousness. I want her enthusiasm. I want her joy. If I see it, it's in me and I need to let it out. Do you see that? So appreciate the good that other people have. The talent, the expression, the life. The last thing, be satisfied. So I've got a bunch of don'ts and a bunch of do's, and the last one is be satisfied. Pray to be satisfied. Just to be satisfied. It's actually something that I use quite a bit, and I tell other people about, and I realize that I need to remember it again. At the very last chapter of Scientific Christian Practice, and I was reading it again last night, the last saying for Sunday is, I'm satisfied with the world in which I walk. I'm satisfied. See, so many of us aren't satisfied. What we see in the world right now is a lot of unsatisfaction. That people need more power. They need more money. They need more land. They need more stuff because they're not satisfied. And and what boggles people's minds are that there are a lot of people with less than other people, and they're satisfied. We have to choose to be satisfied. I'm not saying you have to go without. Please don't say go without and then you'll be satisfied. It's like the world needs to be satisfied, and I need to start with myself. I need to tell others, and then let that emerge. Be satisfied.
God, you are every mountain. God, you are every ocean. God, you are every canyon, every inch of earth and sky. God, you are every morning. God, you are every midnight. God, you are every moment, every second of my life. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything you know, everything you know, everything I know is you. God, you are every sunrise. God, you are every moonbow. God, you are every starshine, every inch of earth and sky. God, you are every springtime. God, you are every snowfall. God, you are every season, every second of my life. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything you know, everything you know, everything I know is you. 'Cause you are the very breath I breathe, and your perfect love created me. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you.
Okay, as the other ushers come forth, this is our time to consciously participate in the spiritual practice of the law of circulation. So if you'll take your gift in your hand and know that from the abundance of the universe, that which is mine circulates in the allness of everything, and what goes out returns. So I gratefully give as I gratefully receive, and the circle is unbroken. And our affirmation: I am worthy of a wealthy life.
All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. Light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. What an affirmation, here we go. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. Light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I
these blessings that go out, multiplying, blessing our church, our community, and our world. And so it is.
Say today before we claim our good. So here we are all together. Let's read these down and claim these I am statements are coming from, when you say I am, you're embodying and recognizing that Christ light within you is the one. It's within you, not little old me, I am, but big Christed me, I am. Okay, so let's read these. I am beautiful. I am strong. I am powerful. I am love. I am kind. I am light.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed